Purihin ng Diyos, konti-konti lumalabas ang totoo. But Mr. Chair, before I ask my questions to Mr. Mamukaw, can I just make a statement because there's been some criticism about bakit pa tayo nag-hearing and nag-hearing din ng COMELEC at DOJ, no? And kami ni Senator Lacson ang nag-author ng resolution asking for this investigation. Gusto ko lang sundan yung sinabi ni Senator Lacson na hindi pa to case closed. At madalas, pinagkakamalan din ang case closed sa case solved. So in this case, neither is it closed nor was it ever solved, no? And from wiretapping to violation of civil rights to alleged kidnapping, bribery, poll fraud, election sabotage, lahat na kasama sa investigasyon na to eh. And during the confirmation hearing of Chairman Brillantes, he was frank and honest enough to admit that cheating in elections happen before, during, and after elections. And even etong 2010 na solve yung cheating sa bilangan at yung sa transmission at canvassing because of the automated system, he admitted it doesn't mean na walang dayaan na nangyari before sa voters list. Hindi ibig sabihin na during yung pagkocontrol ng kung sino boboto at sinong hindi, and yung for example, no, he admitted Mr. Bedol admitted here, just the clustering of precincts at kung saan ilalagay ang presinto can affect, no, in certain areas of the country yung outcome ng voting, no. So despite the automation and despite the success of the elections in 2010, napaka-relevant pa itong lahat. Mr. Bedol also mentioned, at least in TV reports, that an incumbent commissioner of the COMELEC, Commissioner Sarmiento, was involved in the plot to give 0 votes to myself, to Senator Lacson, and to now President Aquino. Of course, the good commissioner denies this, and he will be given his chance to explain if and when Mr. Bedol reiterates his claim, no? Mr. Rafanan, Director Rafanan, also claimed that many of the directors are still there, and many of those involved in the scams in the COMELEC have been promoted. So, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman, we should take note that 2 investigations are better than 1. No? We want to have faith in the COMELEC panel, but they are under also the Commission on Elections, and there are some questions that they have to answer. No? Most of the commissioners we're talking about, including Chairman Abalos, is not in the COMELEC anymore, pero nakasama nila yung ibang nasa COMELEC pa rin. So, if there are any sacred cows in the COMELEC investigation that will come out later on, pero mabuti na rin po na we're having this investigation. That's why I want to ask one question, no, kay Director Sumalipaw before I ask Mr. Mamukaw. Director, pinatawag po ba kayo sa DOJ COMELEC joint commission or yung investigating panel?
Your Honors, up to this point in time, I was not called by the DOJ COMELEC panel, Your Honors.
To your knowledge, was any other director that was named or involved in the 2004 election or Hello Garci tape, were they called?
Based on my knowledge acquired through the media, Your Honors, one regional election director was called by the DOJ COMELEC panel, Your Honors.
To your knowledge, is their investigation over? Have they wrapped up the investigation, or are they continuing despite filing charges against the former President Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo of election sabotage?
Actually, Your Honors, please, I was not able to get hold of the decision or resolution, but somehow through the media, Your Honor, I was able to note that there were further investigations to be conducted, Your Honor, on some respondents.
I say this, Your Honor, because after our first hearing, and after you admitted here that under the election code, you could have ordered the ERs to be delivered, you could have checked, and we're waiting for the non-FREL to show, no, the results of the areas under your jurisdiction. Ang sinabi ng mga taga-COMELEC, leave it to the joint investigating panel, but until this point in time, as you said, you have not been called or you have not been accused, no? But we're trying our best to be fair to you here, and with your indulgence to continue to attend so that you can hear when the COMELEC presents its case, and you can either clear your name or we could see if there was a mistake done. No? And again, before I go to Mr. Mamukaw, Director Attorney Flores,
Yes, sir. Good morning.
good morning. No, I'd just like to ask you about the Mayuga report. No? In the Mayuga report, it was said that a certain Captain Lopez, is it Captain?
Then Captain, Your Honor.
Yes. Tried to bribe you, no, with 100 million pesos. Could you elaborate that circumstance or what you testified to the Mayuga Commission?
Yes, Your Honor. At that time, I was the regional director of the Western Mindanao region. That region before included the three island provinces of Basilan, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi in 2004. 4 days before the election day, I was relieved as regional election director for unknown reasons.
Ma'am, can you state sino po nag-relieve sa inyo?
The order was coursed through the commissioner in charge at that time, Commissioner Manuel Barcelona.
Okay.
But I heard from Commissioner Barcelona that it was Commissioner Garciliano that wanted me to be relieved.
Okay. And was it true that during that time, meron pong parang MANCOM or meron pong committee supposedly chaired by the chairman but run by Commissioner Garciliano, siya ang vice chairman, who decided who will be the election officer where?
It was some kind of a task force hope, something. I don't remember
Yes.
the exact name, Your Honor, but yes, there was.
That's very important, ma'am, because I asked that to Director Sumalipaw. Because ang hindi alam nung marami, wala namang ganun setup in the past. And apparently, ang lumalabas sa investigation so far, precisely bakit kinuha si Commissioner Garciliano, because he promised the ex-president or whoever was in the plot, allegedly, no, that he'll be able to place people who will be able to cooperate with him dun sa operations na gagawin. And I think putting that into perspective, would you now say that one of the reasons bakit ka tinanggal or bakit ka bribe is they wanted you to also cooperate with them sa gagawin nila? What was the bribe for?
In the first place, Your Honor, when I was relieved 4 days before the election day, what came to my mind was I was an unwanted participant in whatever they planned to do because they designated me to be the chairman of the City Board of Canvassers of Zamboanga City. Actually, I was so offended. I was asking Commissioner Barcelona, Sir, I have the right to know why I am being relieved. Have I done something wrong? And he said over the phone that your life is in danger. Somebody transmitted a letter threatening that you will be killed if we don't relieve you. That was the explanation.
Ma'am, can you tell us about the circumstances of the alleged bribe?
Yes, Your Honor. I was then already canvassing in the City Coliseum of Zamboanga City. It was in the Coliseum because the Sangguniang Panglungsod Hall was then under repair. So we were canvassing at the City Coliseum. And it was during a recess that my staff approached me and she told me that Captain Val Lopez wanted to talk to me in privacy. We had this room that was for our rest. There was a staff room that was assigned as the resting place of our staff during the canvassing because we slept there. We slept in the Coliseum because the canvassing was a continuing process. So during a recess, Captain Val Lopez approached me and he said, Ma'am, pwede kitang makausap in private? Sige po. I told him, sige po, let's go to our staff room. And no one else was there at that time. But my staff saw us going to the staff room. And, opo, what can we do for you? I knew him then as the close-in security of Commissioner Garciliano. I agreed to talk to him because I knew him. So we went inside the room and he said, Ma'am, pwede mo kaming tulungan? Saan po? Saan, Captain? Tagilid kasi dito sa Zamboanga City. Sino ang tutulungan ko? si Lepengwi. Lepengwi was a mayoralty candidate of Zamboanga City. Captain Lopez, sa tingin mo sa akin, kaya kong gawin yun? Sabi niya po, hindi niya po sinagot yung tanong ko. Ang sabi niya, ma'am, Lepengwi is willing to spend from 50 million hanggang 100 million. Ganon? Sa tingin mo, gagawin ko yon, kaya kong gawin yon, sa tingin mo sa akin? Sabi ko po sa kanya. And he said, ma'am, we can get the cooperation of the tabulators of your board of canvassers. Sabi ko, Captain Lopez, sorry hindi ko yan kayang gawin. I will not do that. Pasensya na po kasi talagang tagilid sila dito and Lepengwi is helping GMA. Ay, ganun po ba? Because at that time, Your Honors, I was totally naive about who was supporting who.
Ma'am, who said that line that Lee Pengwi is helping GMA?
Captain Lopez.
Coming
po.
from Captain Lopez.
The conversation, Your Honors, did not take a long time because I said no.
Ma'am, may I know what your position is now in the COMELEC?
Effective August 15 of this year, Your Honor, I was promoted as Deputy Executive Director for Administration of the COMELEC.
Well, I'm happy that finally some good people are also being
Thank you, Your
promoted
Honor.
because assuming everything you're testifying today is true, tama po yung sinasabi namin lahat na there are a lot of good people in COMELEC, pero bakit po yung mga name-mention o nai-involve sa anomalya, minsan ay yun ang napropromote parate. So it's a breath of fresh air, no? Again, praise God
Salamat
to
po.
hear that someone with integrity, no? Having said that, just to continue, I heard that you are in fact close to Commissioner Garciliano.
I will admit that, Your Honor.
Yes.
He was my mentor.
But despite of that, you resisted and kept your integrity when his aide, and I assume his aide will not do that if it's against the wishes of his boss. No, it might not be with the instructions of his boss, but definitely he will not do something that will offend his boss.
He knew that, Your Honor. Commissioner Garciliano knows me so much.
Yes. So we appreciate that. No, we do not convict people or make conclusions based on association. Hindi panibasa na malapit ka kay Commissioner Garciliano, ergo kasama ka sa kalokohan as you have testified. No, ma'am, sino pumalit sa inyo nung kayo ni-replace? Tama ho ba na si Attorney Magbutay?
Opo. Actually po, they did not relieve me totally from Region 9 because as I said, during that time, Basulta or Basilan Sulu-Tawi-Tawi was still under Region 9. He was designated as the acting regional director of the 3 island provinces.
And is it true that he is also a protege of Commissioner Garciliano? Would you have knowledge of that?
If we are to define being a protege as someone who also was trained under him, all of us, virtually all of us in Mindanao were under him. He was our mentor in election operations, especially in Sulu, Your Honor.
And Attorney Magbutay was also mentioned in the Garci tapes.
I'm not sure about that, Your
okay.
Honor.
But ma'am, just to clarify, because you're on the record, when you say operations, you're talking about legitimate
Yes, Your Honor.
operations. You're talking about
Conduct of election supervision
Okay.
administration.
you're not talking about special operations or cheating, which is called illegal, immoral operations, which some refer to as ops or special ops.
I use the word in its generic sense, Your Honor.
Well, ma'am, I'll stop there because I think my colleagues will have some questions later.